So everyone knows the story of Judas, the betrayer of Jesus, who traded him in for 30 pieces of silver, later came to regret this decision and went out and hung himself. Now, if you read the accounts, some will propose that the two accounts of this event has contradictions within them. So I want to go over them, actually look and see if these are contradictions or if they are not. So the first one is in Matthew 27:5. So Judas threw the money into the temple and left. Then he went away and hanged himself. So Judas, he felt guilty, threw the money back in the temple, and then he went away and hung himself. Acts 1:18 says this: with the payment he received for his wickedness, Judas bought a field. There he fell headlong. His body burst open, and all his intestines spilled out. Gruesome, right? People will propose, did Judas hang himself or did he fall headlong? Well, these are two separate stages of the same event. They are describing the same event in different stages, obviously the earliest of which would be Judas hanging himself, which then, whether through decomposition or like a rope breaking or a tree branch breaking, whatever it is, right, that led to him falling headlong, bursting open, and his intestines spilling out, as gross as that is. So yeah, both accounts offer two different perspectives from two different points of the event. They aren't contradictory accounts, right? If it said something like, oh, Judas went and hung himself, or when it said, yeah, Judas went on and lived happily ever after, that's contradictory. No, this is describing the same event at two different points. Now, how did Judas acquire the field? Because in Acts 1:18 it says, with the payment he received for his wickedness, Judas bought a field, right? But Matthew 27:7 says this: so they decided to use the money to buy the potter's field as a burial place for foreigners. So Acts says that it's Judas's field. This says that the priests bought the field. Now, again, this isn't a contradiction if you just use some critical thinking and look further into it. The priests used the money and bought the field. So they used Judas's money here, which under Jewish law still counted as his, so it was still his because it was considered wages of iniquity. So the field became associated with Judas, hence the phrase, he acquired the field. Now I want to look at the Old Testament here in Zechariah 11 verses 12 to 13. This is the prophecy of this actual event. I told them, if you think it best, give me my pay, but if not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they valued me. So I took 30 pieces of silver and threw them to the potter at the house of the Lord. This is the temple. And then again, Matthew 27:6-8 describes this. The chief priest picked up the coins and said, it is against the law to put this into the treasury, since it is blood money. So they decided to use the money to buy the potter's field as a burial place for foreigners. That is why it has been called the field of blood to this day. So no, these accounts aren't contradictory. In fact, they are complementary to one another, as we see prophesied about in the Old Testament here. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something here. I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.